Good morning, everyone. My name is Andy Hall. This is news you can use to fight fascism on the Disappointed Cat Morning Show. First story today. First story. First story, birds flying everywhere. Convoy trucker bitterly complains about Beltway drivers giving him the middle finger. Why would anyone want to give a trucker the finger just because they're holding up traffic and supporting something that's stupid? Let's see. So the truckers are against mask mandates, vaccine mandates, which, at least the mask mandates have they completely evaporated? Mostly, many of them have, or they soon will be phased out. So and they are supporting people's rights to be stupid, basically. So it's a combination of stupid and evil. Is it Stevel? Is that the word that comes from stupid and evil? And here, let's take a look at this tweet. A trucker from the People's Convoy riding behind Ted Cruz this morning says many Beltway, and that's Washington, D.C. Beltway, everyone, commuters have been flicking the truckers off. We go around the Beltway. Birds are flying everywhere. That's the kind of people that live up here. Well, one, my friend, being involved with anything with Ted Cruz being one of the least popular senators, even amongst Republicans, that's not going to win you any friends. But is there video of this kvetching, of this complaining by this trucker? Yes, there is, and let's take a look at it.
Go all the way across country with these people, and not one time did I see anybody flip us the bird. Not once. We go around a beltway, birds are flying everywhere. That's the kind of people that live up there, So it's a different world here in D.C. It's a different world, So we're trying to straighten it out. We're trying to clean it up. That's what this is all about. Trying to get it cleaned up. All right.
So when you hear someone who's a MAGA head, saying that we're trying to clean it up, that eventually they are on the road of purging. That is where you say we're trying to clean it up, and then you have that is in the same family as storming the Capitol on January 6th. We're trying to clean it up. They're psychotic, they're delusional, and of course they're surprised that they aren't popular with the people that they claim to represent. They don't represent the majority of citizens in the United States of America. What they represent are lunatics, maybe 10, 20% of the population, but they're loud. And is there more in this article? Links to this piece in the description below. If you're watching on YouTube and Facebook, there are links. The convoy was inspired by a trucker protest that occurred last month in Canada against the government's vaccine mandates. However, it's not clear what this particular protest is about, since the Supreme Court struck down President Joe Biden's vaccine mandate, and indoor mask requirements throughout the U.S. have been completely lifted in recent weeks. More or less, yes. Gonna check out the chat and see how you're all doing this morning. What's up, Scott? Scott Duke. Good morning, sir. And Sean, glad to see that you're here. And if you're watching on Twitter or Facebook, I'm interacting with people here on the YouTube chat. If you want to join us, come on over to the Laughing in Disbelief YouTube channel. John Christian, the truckers drive to Washington protest something that doesn't exist. The media ignores them. Gas prices go through the roof, and now they have to drive home. Now that's justice. Well said, John Christian. I like that. Well said. Let's see what else. Oh, hey, did you see this little comedic post I wrote? I made a little infographic on my blog over on Only Sky, and it's about how you can tell the difference between a traditional Republican and a Trumpist. What's up, 420 Atheist? Hope you're doing okay this morning. All right. What's next? What's the next story? I'm glad you asked. GOP Representative Cawthorn says Zelensky is a thug, says Ukraine is pushing woke ideologies. I just want to point out, everyone, that Republicans, conservatives, hate the biggest woke ideology of all. And you want to know what that woke ideology is? It is democracy, representative government. Can you just imagine what the people in Sparta were thinking about the Athenians back in the day in ancient Greece? It's like, oh, those woke Athenians with their democracy, how we hate them. And hop, skip, and a jump a few thousand years later, and you still have oligarchs saying, and spewing out this filth, this propaganda about wokeness. And when the biggest woke ideology of all times is democracy, that's why Trumpists hate Zelensky. That's why they don't like Ukraine. All right. I had to do this rant about woke ideologies and the fact that democracy is a woke ideology. I think I got it out of my system. We'll see how it goes as I read through this article. Representative Madison Cawthorn, Republican from North Carolina, called Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky a thug at a campaign event over the weekend. Remember that Zelensky is a thug, Cawthorn said in a video obtained by WRAL. Remember that the Ukrainian government is incredibly corrupt and incredibly evil and has been pushing woke ideologies. The 26-year-old, let me go on about woke ideologies. Maybe woke ideology is not wanting to be a satellite state of Russia. Maybe a woke ideology is wanting to not live under the heel of a dictator like Vladimir Putin. Maybe. The 26-year-old Cawthorn's statement is a deviation from mainstream Republican support of Zelensky and the Ukrainian people as they defend themselves against the Russian invasion, but it echoes comments made at the first impeachment trial of then-President Donald Trump. Do you know why most Republicans are now supporting Ukraine? Because they have figured out which way the wind blows, and now they're saying, oh, well, a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, Ukraine, horrible place, Zelensky, horrible guy. And now they realize the political winds are blowing in Zelensky's direction. And that's why conservatives and Republicans are jumping on the Ukraine bandwagon. An hour after WRAL published the video, Cawthorn tweeted that Putin's actions were disgusting and that he was praying for Ukrainians, but the leaders, including Zelensky, should not push misinformation on America. So the misinformation, like their country is being invaded, hospitals are being shelled, civilians are being targeted. Is that what Mr. Cawthorn thinks is propaganda? I think so. A spokesperson for Cawthorn did not immediately reply to Yahoo News' request for comment. So who is this Cawthorn guy? What's his history? I'm glad you asked, everyone. Cawthorn raised controversy on many occasions since taking office last year after comments he made about Adolf Hitler and the Black Lives Matter movement. I hope I don't get banned for that. Just, the algorithm here on YouTube, it's capricious. That's what it is. He also compared the issue of COVID-19 vaccine passports to National Socialist policies, misleadingly implied that he was accepted to the U.S. Naval Academy and launched a website accusing a journalist of leaving a job at Boston College to work for a non-Caucasian males like Democratic New Jersey Senator Cory Booker, who aims, wow, that's, I don't think I can say that without the algorithm hammering me, everyone. So it's right there. Cory Booker, who aims to, not do good things for certain demographic, people. It's basically a replacement theory kind of conspiracy. Additionally, a number of women who attended college with Cawthorn have accused him of sexual misconduct, charges that he denies. I find it difficult to believe a Christo-fascist would be inappropriate around women. He also spoke at a January 6, 2021 rally that preceded the violence at the U.S. Capitol and subsequently voted to overturn the results of the 2020 election. He recently made headlines for driving with a revoked license, his third reported traffic violation in the last 6 months. We should not be surprised that people around Donald J. Trump are a bunch of shysters. Yeah, I'm going to use the word shysters. They are charlatans, and they are the lowest of the low. I mean, after all, isn't Donald J. Trump one of those people? Charlatan, con man, lowest of the low? I think so. Gonna check out the chat before going to the halftime Tommy Rub show. They know that if they support Russia, they'll lose votes. Make no mistake. They love the idea of Putin. They do, Sean. And, I just want to point out that Donald J. Trump won the presidency back in 2016, partly because of Russian support, right? Misinformation campaigns. If Donald Trump decides to run again in 2024, I'm going to make this prediction. One of the reasons why he's going to lose is because of Vladimir Putin and what is going on in Ukraine right now, because there's probably going to be, Ukraine is probably still going to be a mess by the time 2024 rolls around. And that's just a prediction. And just as a sidebar, I think I was probably the first one on YouTube or on the news talking about tactical nuclear weapons, the fact that the Russians could use tactical nuclear weapons in Ukraine, and now everyone's talking about it. So I just wanted to say this is Andy was a little bit ahead of the curve on this. All right. I'm checking out the rest of the chat. Cindy Plaza, a question that came up in discussion: if Russia and Ukraine are the same country, according to Putin, then can Zelensky be president of Russia? I like that, and I like it a lot. And I'm going to say, if there were free and fair elections in Russia, big if, we're talking hypotheticals here, Zelensky might have a good chance at actually beating Putin. Sean says, Cawthon is a moron. How can it is even possible for anyone to be that stupid? If there's one thing that I've learned during COVID, is that there is no bottom to stupidity. As soon as you think you've hit bottom, like rock bottom dumb, there are sub-basements underneath that. Simply Secular Dave, good morning, Dave. The truckers are protesting mandates that no longer exist. What does that tell you about why these people are protesting? I don't think it's that. Yes, exactly, Dave. Okay, halftime Tummy Rub show. We do this to take a breather from the news. Don't worry, there's another bit of news we're going to be covering in a few minutes. But once again, just a reminder, no ads on this channel. If you want to contribute, I run things here because of people like you making contributions, whether it's Venmo, PayPal, links in the description below, or becoming YouTube members of the channel or Patreon patrons. So, and I want to thank everyone who does throw in a couple of bucks now and again. And hey, if you can't do it, just tell someone about the show or share the video. That would be wonderful too. All right. What are we doing, everyone? We're going to do the halftime Tommy Rub show, and let's check this out. Pretty intense. All right. What's the last story we're covering today? Belarus. Oh, Belarus. It's I don't know if Russia is the Germany, we're going to use World War II analogies right here. So if Russia, ironically enough, is actually Germany, using that World War II metaphor, Belarus is probably Italy, the ugly, red-headed stepchild of World War II and of today's conflict with Ukraine. Why Belarus is so involved in Russia's invasion of the Ukraine. And here you have the president, Lukashenko, right there in the middle, surrounded by his lackeys and lickspittles. Belarus, the land is a landlocked country of 9 million people. It borders northern Ukraine and served as a staging ground for Russian troops in the months preceding the invasion. It also hosted diplomatic talks between Russia and Ukraine. On Wednesday, the EU announced it would ban Belarusian banks from the SWIFT global messaging system and freeze ties with Belarus's central bank, adding to sanctions levied last week that effectively blocked billions of euros worth of annual exports to the EU. And the White House announced its own sanctions last week to limit imports and target Belarusian military officials as it criticized Belarus for enabling Putin's invasion of Ukraine. Now, it's important to point out that while workers and everyday people in the States or in any country, they find it difficult to support other workers in other countries. There isn't like a huge mass workers of the world unite kind of movement out there. But you know who does protect other people in their class, in their social economic class? Oligarchs do, or at least dictators do. Dictators like to protect other dictators, at least if they're friendly to them. Here we go. Why is Belarus aiding the Russian invasion? In short, Russia has helped Belarus and specifically its authoritarian leader, Alexander Lukashenko, and now Russian President Vladimir Putin has called in the favor. For years, Lukashenko has played Belarus as something of a neutral state, shifting his overtures between Russia to Western nations and back as his needs suited. But a turning point came in 2020 after Lukashenko declared victory in a controversial disputed election. Where have we heard that before? As in Donald J. Trump. If Donald J. Trump actually seized power, right, on January 6th, then I would think one of the first people to congratulate him on his bold and decisive move would have been Vladimir Putin. Lukashenko's claim of a landslide victory, 80% for Lukashenko versus 10% for his popular opponent, Sviatlana, well, that was a horrible butchering of that name, and I'm not going to pronounce that last name, was instantly disputed both by the opposition and by U.S. and its allies in Europe. In Belarus, protests erupted on an unprecedented scale. They lasted for weeks, with security forces arresting thousands, but still failing to suppress the huge numbers of demonstrators in the capital, Minsk. Facing the biggest popular challenge in his 26 years of power, Lukashenko turned to Putin for help, and Putin delivered, announcing that the Russian military stood ready to intervene if necessary. What's the point of having a satellite state? What's the point of having a vassal state if you can't send your troops in? And so that basically emboldened Lukashenko to put down the uprising rather violently. And he's still in power. And so that's why he's allowing Russian troops to have prepared for the invasion of Ukraine. And, even though Belarusian troops are not officially in Ukraine right now, that is still a possibility. Checking out the chat, seeing how everyone's doing. That's right. It's almost as if the oligarchs have a union of themselves right there. Support the oligarchs union. Very nice, Dave. That's right, Big Zebra. Belarus, home of the Belarusians. Hey, I'm going to be on the show tomorrow. That's right. Tomorrow is Saturday, today being Friday. I'm going to be talking about comedy. I'm going to be with a super talented writer over on Only Sky. Not me. I'm an okay writer. I do my job. I make the yucks, right? The ha-ha yucks, not the disgusting yucks. But Kyle Morrison is joining us along with Eric Murphy over on what's that channel right there? That's the YouTube link right there. And we're going to be talking about, can you joke about anything? We're going to talk about the mechanics. We're going to get into the nitty gritty of wokeness and not shitting on people. I think I think that's going to be part of the conversation. How can you be funny without shitting on underprivileged people from people who don't need to be shat on? Though it's right up there. I just showed you, Big Zebra. It's up there in the chat. All right. Thank you, everyone, for showing up. Next show is on Monday next week, 9 a.m. We do the after party after show at 9:30 on the other channel on the Naked Diner podcast channel. Link is in the description below. If you want to be on the panel, the link is in the description below too. I hope everyone has a good weekend. If I don't see you before Monday, and the name of the show, Cindy Plaza writes, Humor and Minorities, What's So Funny? Yes, it's the Eric Murphy. Sean. Eric Murphy from Skeptic Generation. Eric Murphy's been on a bunch of different shows. So yeah, that's going on tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. Kyle is looking forward to it. He's got a lot of thoughts, and we're going to say things. Maybe there'll be some jokes too. Maybe. All right, everyone. I'm going to drop a cat video. I'm going to throw down a thank you video, and hopefully I'll see you at 9:30, like on the other channel. Take care.
Sometimes all I think about is food, late night and in the afternoon. Diets be stressing me out.